What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show. We're coming to you live Sunday from after the Chargers Week 6 victory in Miami. Man, we pulled it off. Game winner from Cameron Dicker, a 33-yard field goal with 5 seconds left when it looked like we were going to let them come back and take the game. Plenty to talk about real quick to recap this game. Justin, man, what was the emotions? How were you feeling in that final minutes, that fourth quarter of this game?
Man, yeah, emotions was all over the place, man. And seeing Darren Waller wide open in the end zone like that, I'm like, oh my goodness. Obviously a blown coverage, but a lot of those crossing routes, players kind of get lost in the shuffle. I mean, that happens. That's why you run those routes, especially when the field is as condensed as it was.
Yep.
But yeah, man, emotions were all over the place, man. But one thing you don't do to great quarterbacks, you don't want to give them time.
Nope.
You don't want to give them time, especially if they only need a field goal.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't need to score. All you need was a field goal. So, left obviously Herbert too much time. And I said it. I was like, I said Herbert he can't be Superman if his O line is made of kryptonite. And I thought the O line they played pretty well today. I mean, there was a couple false starts, little penalties like that, but I thought they played really well against. I mean, Miami's pass rush isn't like toppest in the league, but they got some juice. They got some juice over there. Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson. So they got some players over there, but
Yep.
I thought our O line played pretty well considering who's out there playing for us. So, no,
Yeah.
I'm excited about the win, man. Excited about anytime we can get a win, no matter if it's a gritty win, a blowout win, a win's a win. 4-2,
Four and
4-0 in
two
the conference. I'm feeling good, feeling great.
for sure. 29-27 victory. Just to recap the game, we first half was all red zone drives that we could not finish, so it was all field goals for us. So we go to halftime. What was it, 13-9, after they just get a field goal to finish off the half.
Hmm.
We played pretty well defensively in the first half, apart from one big play that was set up by a fumble by us, and then really another deep bomb that Waddle bobbles twice and lands like a half yard from sliding right out of bounds, where it just lands right on his arm. But I
Yeah,
mean, minus two big plays, defense played really well first half. Offense played fine, other than just not finishing red zone drives, which is the theme of this year so far. We're in the 30s still, which is either second to last or last in the league after this weekend probably. So we go into halftime probably feeling okay, but feeling like we should be ahead. And then we come out and just really just kind of take control and dominate the third quarter. A couple turnovers, couple scores. All of a sudden we're up 23-13. Early field goal in the fourth, 26-13, and then for some reason, I think we got a little complacent and allowed them to go down and drive and score twice, including a 13-play, 82-yard drive that allowed them to tie the game up with 46 seconds left. Like you mentioned, Darren Waller wide open in the back of the end zone. One of those drives where we're just like, please hold, because they had to go and score. It was 26-20. They had to
yep,
get a touchdown, and we're hoping like, hey, just stop them one time, and it didn't happen. And like you mentioned, you can't leave time. And I'm going to give a shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Great coaching by calling those timeouts when they got to first and goal with like about a minute and 4 seconds left. And, he was calling timeouts earlier. And you're just like, hey, we can stop them still. Like they need to score to win. But he was thinking if they do score, we leave time for 10. And
exactly.
Raheem Himes set up a great return to get us about the 40-yard line, and that just left us with about 18 yards to go to get in Dicker's range because that guy's unbelievable. Um, and man, final drive starts off with pressure right in Herbert's face, like we would expect with that O line, and stands tall, stands strong, and gets an incompletion, which is just as important as the next play, which resulted in him shaking off Jalen Phillips after a free rush, basically finding Ladd and Ladd breaking it down for a 42-yard gain to set us up for that game-winning 33-yard field goal. Man, just unbelievable job all around, especially by Justin Herbert. He basically willed us to a win right there, and stole the game and won the game for us, and a huge win to pull to 4-2. 3-3 with the loss to Miami would have been really, really bad and hard to overcome a three-game losing streak right now after Denver got a win earlier in the morning to take first place for about 3 hours by half a game
Uh-huh.
until we won. But man, it feels good to sit at top of the division and get that win. Who stood out for you today? What else did you see out there today?
I mean, well, I think my biggest shout out of the day goes to just the front office, man, because honestly, like you look at things that are happening, you look at all the injuries that we're having, you're looking at the way our team was constructed going into the year, and you're like, man, O-line looks tremendous. You look at all the different position groups, and we're like, man, we look really good across the board. Yeah, maybe wanting maybe some additional upgrades to some different position groups, but overall, we looked really solid across the board. This last week, we really shook things up. I mean, talk about that trade, sending Aloy Gilman in the fifth for Adafe Owe
Yeah.
in the seventh round, the Rams seventh rounder. But then I also got to give shout outs to the different practice squad additions and players who were elevated because just like you said, look at Naheem Hines setting us up big time on that last kick
Yes.
return. If that didn't happen, who knows how much more difficult it would have been for Herbert to march down the field and get us in field goal range. So Naheem Hines coming up big in special teams, and we have not had good special team kick returns at all like this entire year. So
Oh,
you look at that, him being elevated 1 week, and look at the impact he was able to have. So I love that. I look at Bobby Hart. I'll be honest, we spoke about it. We were, talking and hey, you know who Bobby Hart is? No, but look at this clip. It doesn't look good. Um, Bobby Hart today, I'm not gonna lie, outside of the couple false starts that he had, he didn't look bad. I mean, he's a backup. He's a backup offensive tackle at this point in his career. He's not going to win every pass rush pass blocking rep, excuse me.
yeah.
Um, but when you look at what he did, even like Austin Deculus, those guys played pretty well. So like I'm looking at all the moves because Austin Deculus wasn't on our team to start the year.
No.
Traded a seventh rounder for him. Like I said, Bobby Hart brought him in on the practice squad, elevated him for this game. I'm looking at all the different moves that the front office is making. And it's like, hey, they're not splash moves, but they're helping us stay afloat until everybody gets back. Trey gets back, Jamari gets back, Alt gets back. The Adolfo Elway trade. I mean, that's not a stay afloat trade. That's a hey, this is a move that we need to make because we need pass rush help. But when Matt gets back, that three-man rotation is going to be
Yeah.
feisty. Like it's going to
Yeah.
be feisty. So I mean, I just got to give a big, huge shout out to that front office because there's a lot of people who are just complaining about, oh, go trade away this, do this. We know that our front office values draft capital. They're not just going to be trading away picks to bring people in. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They traded a seventh rounder earlier, got Deculus just to give us some depth. Went and got away. Like they're not going to just be trading away draft picks just to trade them away. So, like I said, big shout out to the front office, and that's who I would give my props to for this game. I'm not even going to give it to particular players, although there are some shout outs that I can give.
Yeah.
OG, great game. But like that front office, man, it's things like that that help you win games, and people don't think about that stuff. It's
Yeah.
oh, this player had a great game. No, but look at all the moves that the front office made to get us to where we are, despite all the injuries we're having. So I love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
that's a good shout out. Along that same line, we like to do those supercharger shout outs on these Sunday recaps. So I got to give two. First, got to show love, Justin Herbert, my supercharger. Man, 29 to 38 behind that line. So we had to drop back 38 times and we completed 29. That's an incredible job. Only took one sack today. 264 yards, two touchdowns. And then, of course, the big play we talked about. I still can't believe it. If you see that play, if you haven't seen it, go watch that play. Look at the screenshot. The guy is on him, holding him, and Justin shakes him off and is able to escape and find Lad. And then credit to Lad for making a move and getting downfield because the guy probably thought he was just going to be able to push him out of bounds and you know
Hmm.
keep him at like a 10-yard gain. And Lad turned it upfield and knowing that we had a timeout, and even if we didn't, we would have could have got down there and still spiked it and just get in a way better field goal range because we trust Dicker from easily 55 plus, but you want to get in as good a range as possible. Uh,
Hmm.
Second shout out, and this goes along with what you were just talking about, the practice squad people and stepping up. So my other supercharger today, I'm going with Kamani Vidal. He was a practice squad guy to start the year. Only got elevated after these injuries and 18 carries, 124 yards. Really looked good out there, finding holes. He also had three receptions. So he was being a factor out there. We were wondering how that split would go with him and Hassan. Kind of went the way that I was thinking it would go, as Kamani being more of the rusher and Hassan playing more of that pass pro guy because that's what he was even doing when Najee was around and Amarion. Um, I just thought, man, Cavani was able to give us a burst, and we talked about how bad that Miami run defense was. and we made him pay by giving the ball to Kamani and him finding some holes for us and giving us a burst. So I'm definitely giving a double supercharger shout out, Justin Herbert, my guy, my QB1, elite quarterback in this league, Justin Herbert, and then my guy Kamani Vidal, big game today. Um, I know you mentioned OG, 7 catches, 68 yards. He bounced back after an early fumble that could have derailed him, hurt him. He's a Florida kid. He's from out there. His pops played for the Dolphins, so he had a lot to prove, and I'm sure that felt good for him to have that happen the rest of the way and go 7 catches, 68 yards after an early fumble.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I love the big time offensive shout outs. Defensively, I actually do want to give a shout out, and it's not to slight any of the obviously Chargers who've been here doing it, training camp, all this, but I want to give a shout out to Odafe Owe. First sack of the year for
Yeah,
him. And you look at some of his I guess pass rushing, I guess you could say stats coming over to us. I mean, he didn't have a sack coming into the year. He's been generating pressures, he's been getting hits on QBs, but he hasn't had the sack just yet. But you look at the way he plays, and that first play was just like indicative of his motor. He comes off of the edge. He's having to read the play. Okay, am I going to be able to rush the passer right away? Oh no, quarterback's getting out the pocket. Okay, so now I'm running. I need to be aware of my surroundings. Oh, there's a guy trying to block me. He sheds the block, chases Tua down, which Tua's not much of a scrambler, but he's not the slowest guy in the league. Um,
no,
but just showing that motor and showing that athleticism that I mean, I think he's going to do so well with this team, man, because we got a pretty big like front that's not going to allow us to that's going to clog those lanes and it's going to make way for those pass rushes. They put out a graphic early in the game. Thule was tied for fourth in the league in pressures. Always gonna start getting a lot of those pressures too because that interior of that O line is really good.
yeah,
And I know it's kind of getting overshadowed these last couple of weeks because our run game looks so bad. But it's not on the interior. We just can't set the edge.
yeah,
So I think a lot of people are like, oh man, interior of that O line, I mean the D line, they're not looking that good. They can't stop the run. You look at all the big runs, it's coming from the outside, those outside zones, those toss plays. We can't set the edge. I think going forward, OA getting more accustomed to the play calls, the terminology, the playbook. I think he's going to be out there a lot more, and I think he's going to help us set that edge a lot more. But I actually got to give a shout out to Bud too. He looked pretty good this game, setting the edge, but he's always kind of been good that way. But I just haven't been seeing it the last couple of games. But he looked pretty good setting the edge and defensively against the run. So that's
yeah.
been our biggest Achilles heel. So I want to give that a little shout out because I've been a little harsh on Bud, but he looked pretty good against the run today.
Solid game today for sure. I feel like there's a lot of guys that could even get a little boost to the secondary played well today. 3 interceptions off of Tua. I mean, I'm still counting that last one that Derwin got. It goes on the stats, so sorry.
Heck yeah.
So I think overall, all around, I think we played a pretty good game. There still was a lot of room for improvement to have a better game. Like Derwin said post game, we should have blew these boys out. We set ourselves up to start off the well, and then in the middle of that chunk of that game, that third quarter, how I mentioned, we could have just kept pulling away. We
Yeah.
kind of let them back in it, but credit to us for fighting and not giving up, and really credit to Justin Herbert. So real quick, before we go, got a couple other things just wanted to mention. We did do our bolt standard betting every week. This week we went 2 for 6 just to recap these bets. Anything you wish you could get back or that stuck out to you from on your side?
Man, just not a good showing, man. Pitched a no hitter. Yeah, man. Herbert didn't really rely on his legs at all. I
Didn't even
mean,
try.
he let his backs kind of do it. I mean, Kamani looked great. Haskins had some pretty good runs. I know he had one run that was like 10 yards. The rest of them were kind of short yardage type stuff, which is going to take care of that or lower that yards per carry. But
Yeah,
no, he had literally one rush attempt. So no, that over didn't hit. Thought it would. Thought that with this O line the way it was, I thought that he would be forced to get out the pocket more before, which he did. I mean, he was doing
yeah,
some things on the run, but Herbert's always the quarterback that he's keeping his eyes down the field,
yeah,
and he's always taking. His preference is to still throw it, even
yeah,
though he probably could scramble for 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. He's probably going to throw for the 5, 6, 7, 8 yards as opposed to running for it, which I would love to see him just take those carries, just take those rushes every now and then. Like it's gonna pull that defense in. It's gonna allow you to have those deep shots more. But
Yeah.
he's got a cannon of an arm. He trusts his ability, and I trust him too. So I would never say, "Oh, you should have ran that." Hey, man, if you throwing the football, I trust that you see something, and I've seen you fit the throw in any kind of window. So I'm not really
Yeah.
concerned about it. So no, man, like I said, pitch the no hitter, man. Went 0 for 3. Um, but yeah, man, we're gonna have them bad weeks every now and then, but
Right, right.
a lot more
I
good than
mean,
McGee bad.
if anything, that under that you took, you just got to feel good about the fact that the over was because Lad went 42 yards for us to set up a win. So, if anything,
Yeah,
you got to take that one.
but I
And
said it. I said it. I said I'm cool with him going over
you
in the
did.
win.
Yeah.
I said that. I said that. But obviously, if Lad could have, slowed down maybe 10 less yards, I mean, Dicker would have made it from there too. So nah,
Yeah.
nah. I mean, I'm happy the guys did what they did, man, and got that dub.
I did like that rush yard at 16 and a half you had. I'm surprised there was a couple opportunities as I was watching that. I thought maybe he would have pulled it on a couple of those zone reads, kept that defense honest. But, the way Kamani got going, it really didn't matter that Herbert wasn't doing it. And, with the way that our season's going injury wise, I tend to proceed with caution with Herbert running. So if we can be effective without him doing it, cool. Yeah, I went 2 for 3 on my side, so that's where the 2 for our six came. The only one I didn't hit with that is lock with a chance over, which I'm cool that didn't hit, I guess, because that was less
Hmm.
the ball's in his hands. Four and a
Right.
half was he only had four, so it was close. But Ladd went over that receptions, 4.5. He had seven. Big day for Ladd, 7 for 100 and a
Big day.
touchdown. And he stepped up with Q not being out, which also Trey Harris did a really good job stepping in. I called it. I talked to my brothers before the game. We chat often, and I told them, I said, I predicted one of them to score, but I said Trey, OG, or KLS, they're going to pick up this slack with Q being out, and Trey and
Mhm.
OG combined for 11 receptions. So they definitely filled that void, finding another target for Herbert because we know Keenan and Ladd are going to be there. And then Ladd got that TD. So Ladd, his big day went kind of what I was thinking, kind of boosted by Q not being there. So maybe more looks his way. But, all in all, overall good day for Ladd, and which equated for a good day on my side. But yeah, we're gonna keep coming back, and we're gonna keep throwing them at the drawing board and see what we can cook up for the Colts next week. Should be something good for you guys. Any final thoughts before we get out of here on this post game show? I know I got one thing I want to touch on to finish, but I'm gonna let you touch on whatever your final thought is for this week 6 victory.
No, man, just excited. Like I said, that we can grind out a win, even with as many injuries as we're facing. Injuries happen across the league, and today there was a ton of more injuries as the games were being played. So, injuries happen, but not every team is able to weather the storm. So, I'm glad that we're 4-2. Would love for us to be 6-0, 5-1, but 4-2, 4-0 in the AFC is an amazing start.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that our guys are getting, as the week goes by, our guys are getting more healthy. Where it's less time from waiting to have Mac back, what less time waiting to have Alt back. Hampton, obviously they just put him on IR, so he's out at least 4 weeks. And I just saw a report saying that it's looking like it's going to be more than 4 weeks. So that kind of hurts a little bit, but Kamani showed promise.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of reports are out there as well saying that Chargers in the running back market, so they're probably going to end up doing something.
How do you feel about that after seeing that Kamani rushed really well today? And, we still have Hassan that could be a factor as far as, the other guy. Do you think we should still look for something and give up, because we're probably going to have to give up capital to do it? Names being floated around are like Brees Hall and Alvin Kamara. Do you think it's worth it now that we hear Amarian might be out longer? Or did Kamani show like, hey, just give me the rock. We don't need to go get somebody else?
I feel like it depends on the price, man. I feel like the price can always be right. So if a team, Jets are 0-6 right now. What are the Saints? 1-5.
Hmm.
Um, we know what direction they're headed. They're headed for, okay, we're probably going to want to try to get a top 5 draft pick. We both know quarterback situations aren't the greatest. I do like Fields,
Yeah.
but it's just not working out right now. I think the price can always be had. I will say he looked really good today. But there are 5 other teams where their running backs also look really good against the Miami Dolphins because they're the worst run defense in the league. So I don't want to hang my hat on and say, oh, Kamani's the guy, man. I'm not worried about nothing.
Yeah.
I don't see him being, the main guy and nobody else being brought into the room. I think even Naheem Hines could probably even get some run, in the next couple of weeks. So no, I definitely think that they're gonna do something. I mean, even if it's moving like a seventh rounder I mean, we don't have a six this year, but if we move a six next year or some, oh no, we do have a six. We don't have our seven and our fifth.
Yeah,
So maybe you moving a six this year or a six or seventh next year to maybe bring in like a. I don't think they're gonna make a move for like a Brees Hall or a Kamara. I think that
yeah,
that's too rich, unless those GMs are just like, you know what? We're not paying those guys after this year. We're tanking, or whatever the case may be. Is give us a fifth next year. Give us a sixth this year. Then it's like, all right, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
send them. But like a fourth rounder, a third rounder, no, that's too rich for me, man. When we got Omarion Hampton, I mean, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's like, especially well, now that Omarion's out longer, it opens that door more. If it was just for sure that 4 weeks, it was like, yeah, there's no reason. We just hold down the fort. Omarion's the guy we drafted in first round for a reason. And to get one of these guys, that's a lot of time when people are like, oh, go get this guy, go get that guy. You got to get something up to go get these guys. All right,
Yeah.
so it's gonna get hurt in the back end, and a guy like Ortiz doesn't want to give up capital, which I understand. We already gave up, like you said, something in the offseason for preseason for Deculus. We just gave up fifth for Owe. So it's like, what do you want? Not want us to have any draft picks next year? So especially for a guy like a Brees Hall, Kamara, somebody a report said that Kamara may not want to even leave New Orleans. So it really seems like Brees Hall would be the most popular target. The only reason I could be a little bit more for it is because it's speculation that KC is out there in the market for RB. So if we take one that they can't have, I'm cool with that too. But
Mhm.
I think Kamani showed plenty today that he doesn't need that. So yeah, I'm good on that as well. I just wanted to get your thoughts now that that was out there and after the game that Kamani had, like, hey guys, slow down. We might not need one of my final thought is that man, just another performance from Herbert to finish the game is exactly what we've needed to see. I think he might jump back into that MVP talk. It quieted down a little bit those last 2 weeks. I think all of a sudden he might creep back in there because I think he had a really good game today. And then stat popped up today, most game-winning drives since 2020. He has 18. Only person with more is Mahomes with 19.
Mahomes.
And
Mhm.
18, that's from his rookie year for Herbert. Mahomes had been in the league a couple years at that point. So,
Yeah.
um, man, so many times the narrative around Herbert was that he can't win games or he doesn't bring his team back or this or that
It's
or
not clutch.
yeah, not clutch. The last drive, all of a sudden he's turning the ball over or just doesn't finish it. It's like not true at all. 18 is the second most in the league since he's been there. So, shout out to Herbert, man, just winning that game again and being that guy. Can't wait to see how that propels us forward into a big matchup next week against Indianapolis.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a big game, man. Big game at home. Colts playing really well. Were they 5-1? It's gonna be a big test, man. It's gonna be a
Yep.
big test, but I think our team is up for the challenge. And like I said, man, we're getting healthier and healthier every single week. Any other thoughts before we close this out?
That's it. I'm finishing with 10.
Hey, man, listen, 4-2, 4-0 in the AFC, heading back home. We got the dub. Got the Colts next week, and we
Yeah.
get to unveil them beautiful unis next week.
Uh-huh.
Man, I cannot wait, man. That's gonna be, and it's really nice because I think isn't it back to back weeks we were unveiling the new unis? We're going
Yep. Charger
Charger
Power
Power
on
and then
Sunday.
Superchargers, right?
Yep, next Thursday.
It's gonna be some, yeah, 6-2 just because of the unis, just because of the unis. No, but seriously, man, thank you guys for tuning in with us. This is our post game show. Just wanted, like you said, just kind of recap the game a little bit. Let you guys get back to watching some Sunday night football. But by the time you guys see this, it'll be 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, so you won't be watching football. But yeah, man, thank you for tuning in with us. Love all the viewers. Drop us some comments, some likes, interact with us a little bit. Get some of the back and forth going with us, so we can kind of get some more momentum. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, we're just happy we can get a dub. So win, loss, draw is always going to be both up.